And Zeus is a Eurasian eagle owl. Now he's actually a good one to bring out after little Cinderella, because quite often here in the UK, people see long-eared owls out in the wild with their big, long, narrow wingspan, their impressive tufts on top of the head. They've got similar coloration to the big eagle owl, but look how much bigger he is by comparison. And this species isn't native to the UK. There are a few individuals living in England and a couple up in Scotland, but they're not classed as belonging there. It's thought that they are either escapees, that they got away from private keepers who were a little bit careless with their practices, their birds got out into the wild, they were never able to recover them, and then the owls were able to naturalise, were able to survive, find another escapee, and now there's a small breeding population existing in the UK. But there's another theory. There have been sightings of these big owls on oil rigs in the middle of the North Sea. There have been sightings of these big owls hitching a lift on cargo ships and container ships that have been travelling between continents, and they are using the man-made transport to make their way over to the UK. There's also a final theory, and this might be the most interesting one, was that at some point in history, now we're talking a very, very long time ago, not just thousands of years, tens of thousands of years ago, that these guys once belonged. And there has been evidence unearthed that would run in line with that way of thinking. Throughout archaeological dig sites in England, remains traced back through this species' family lines and ancestral lines, and they are partially fossilised when they're unearthed at the dig sites. So if that were the case, their early, great times 100 grandparents may once have existed here in the UK. And then what happened to push them out? Was it that they were hunted by humans trying to establish settlements at the time? Was it a sudden disease that spread through and wiped out their favourite prey source, like myxomatosis in rabbits? Was it loss of habitat? Or likely, was it a mix of all of these things? And in order to survive, the population was forced out. They sought solace in neighbouring continents throughout Europe. And now, those ones that are hitching lifts on cargo containers, is it their relatives from today, modern times, that are riding over on human transport, coming back to what once was their home? It's an interesting one that ties in with all of the rewilding ideas that have been brought into the limelight in recent years, because the wildlife fauna in so many parts of this world used to look very, very different. There is now a noticeable absence of a lot of these apex predators, and as a result, the pest species who they control have been getting out of control. And that's why us humans have had to take it upon ourselves and start using those harmful artificial controls to keep the rodent numbers in check, to keep rabbit numbers in check, hare or certain bird species in check, because the natural predators don't exist to do that job anymore. Now, the rodenticides and poisons, they are the worst one of all of them. Trapping, at least, doesn't contaminate an entire food source for every predator who relies upon it. And what those poisons never tell you on the packaging is how cruel they are. It can take up to 7 days for the poison to do its job, causing that little rodent to hemorrhage from the inside out, in more agony than it has ever known or experienced in its life.